Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. This is Steph, and in this channel, we discuss things related to personal finance, self-development, and work-from-home opportunities. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to this channel, like this video, and share this with your friends. So for today's video, guys, we will be talking about credit cards. So I think when we talk about credit cards, dalawang bagay lang yan eh. It is either some people will have fears about using it because they fear about having debts, or the other one is that some people may want it for the wrong reasons, if you know what I mean. Okay? Lalo na yung mga mahilig sa utang. So they may want to have credit cards because of that. Alright, so in this video guys, you will expect that we will discuss the difference between debit cards and credit cards. Next is we will discuss how does a credit card work, and then we will also discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using credit cards. And lastly, I will share some practical tips on how to effectively or use wisely the credit cards, because I too have my own credit card. So, ano nga ba yung difference ng debit cards and credit cards? So, again, both of them are just plastic cards. But then, debit card, this is linked to your savings account in your bank. Of course, you cannot have a debit card if you do not have any money in that specific bank. So, basically, you can withdraw the amount that you have in your bank, the savings that you have in your bank, through the debit cards. That's one way to withdraw money using the debit card, okay, or your ATM card. Whereas your credit card, you don't necessarily need to have a savings account to a specific bank for you to have a credit card. Okay, so some banks may offer you credit cards even if you don't have savings in that specific bank. So it is not linked to any savings account, it is separate. So credit card guys, para siyang yung bangko is nagpapautang sila sa inyo. So meaning to say they are giving you a parang credit line, or that you have a credit limit so that you can use it to purchase something for your spending, and then babayaran nyo siya on a later period. So parang buy now, pay later. So nagpapautang ang bangko sa inyo. So I mentioned about credit limit. So what is credit limit? So it is the maximum amount that the bank is allowing you to spend for your purchases. Okay, so any amount na mag-i-exceed na doon, matcha-charge ka na ng over-limit fee. So again, stick to the, as much as possible, stick to the credit limit, or it is really better, or it is best that you just go below the credit limit, okay? And then pay on time. So how does a credit card work? Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the banks allow you to spend a specific amount. You have a credit limit for your purchases or for your spending. So basically guys, you have a billing cycle which is 30 days. So paiba-iba yung billing cycle. So in my case, my billing cycle starts every 26th of the month. Okay, so what happens here is that I have a period, a 1-month period to have my purchases. Yun yung billing cycle ko. So for example, May 26 up to June 25. So that is my 1-month billing cycle. And then we also have what you call a statement date. So statement date is like your billing date. So, di ba meron kang 1 month na allowed ka na mag-purchase ng mga anything. So after that 1 month, ibibill ka ng bangko. So you will have your statement date. Sa akin, in my case, it's every 25th of the month. So, yung purchases ko, May 26 up to June 25th, ibibill na siya sa June 25th. Okay? So, nandun lahat yung nagawa ko in that specific month. So, that's the statement date. Paiba-iba din yung statement date to every person. So, in my case, it's every 25th. Now, we also have the payment due date. So for the payment due date, in my bank, it is, I don't know if this is true to all banks, but in my bank, it is 21 days after the statement date. So, di ba, 25th yung statement date ko. So, basically, after 21 days, mag-due na yun lahat nung nagasto ko sa credit card ko. So, for example, since it's June 25th, the statement date in my case, my due date is July 16. Okay, so dapat bayaran ko yung lahat na na-purchase ko in that month, in that billing cycle, so July 16. So that is the 21st 21 days after the statement date. So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of credit cards. So again, lahat naman yata ng bagay merong pros and cons. So we just need to know what are those para ma-manage natin yung expectations natin, and then we know also how to use the tools that we are using. And one of that is the credit card. Okay, credit cards can be used to your advantage, but also it can be really detrimental if you misuse it. So we need to know what are these. So the advantages, of course, number one is convenience. Okay? So instead of you bringing lots of cash, kung ayun yung magdala ng cash na sobra-sobra, you can use credit cards. Okay? And then pay later, or sa case ko, for example, I do my groceries. Pag tamad akong mag-withdraw ng pera, so ang gagawin ko, gagamitin ko yung credit card ko, and then pagdating ko sa bahay, babayaran ko din naman agad. So I just transfer money and then just pay the amount that I used in my credit card. Hindi ko na siya patatagalin kasi hindi ko naman talaga intention na umutang. Okay? It's just for convenience kasi ayoko magdala ng cash. Okay? So another advantage is flexibility. Flexibility in terms of payment. Kasi guys, merong mga purchases na, for example bumili ka ng laptop worth 50,000. Pwede mo siyang i-pay through cash, pwede mo rin siyang gawing installment. But then, there is no difference in amount. Whether you purchase through cash or purchase through installment, the same 50,000 yung babayaran mo. So, if you are given the option to pay on installment, so why not choose that one? So that hindi mo kailangan maglabas ng sobrang laking pera, okay, in one go. So, you can opt to choose installment. So, in that case, you can use credit cards kasi hindi naman sila nag-charge ng interest kasi same lang if through cash or through installment. So, that is a strategic way of using a credit card to purchase high-ticket items like that. Next is rewards. In terms of credit cards, guys, iba-iba kasi yung types ng credit cards. Merong credit cards na nag-offer ng rewards, meron ding wala. So, if you are using those credit cards na merong rewards or points, yes, that is an advantage. There are also cashback na ino-offer nila, so you can use those points. Ang iba for travel or something. Okay, so that's one advantage or perks of using credit cards. Next is building of good credit history or credit score. Okay, so good credit history. Why is this important? Kasi guys, it is like building good relationship with the financial institution or the bank. So when the time comes that you would have to take out a loan from them, so most likely, i-check nila yung paano ka ba nagbabayad ng utang, and one way is to check your credit card history, credit card payment history. So, if you're a good payer, so most likely, if time will come na gusto mong umutang sa bangko, most likely, ma-approve talaga yung loan mo. Kasi, nakikita nila na, magaling tong magbayad ng utang. Okay? So, you can be allowed to take out loans easily compared to those na, for example, meron silang credit card, tapos yung history ng payment nila is palya-palya. Okay? So, laging nagdi-default, laging may finance charges. So, most likely, i-decline ng bangko or other financial institutions yung request nila for loans. So, that's an advantage also. Lastly, what I can see also as an advantage is security. Because again, it is related to also convenience and flexibility. Security because hindi mo na, for example, bibili ka ng mamahaling mga purchases, you really don't have to bring lots of cash with you, which is really unsafe. Okay, so you just bring your card. So that's another thing, that's security. How about the disadvantages, guys? I really want you to know the disadvantages more than you know the advantages, because minsan kasi nakakaligtaan ng tao yung mga disadvantages. Parang nakikita lang nila na, wow, credit cards, bili-bili, purchase. So no, you need to also know the disadvantages of using credit cards. Okay, number one, so you should remember that aside from the convenience that it is giving you, of course, on the other hand, meron talaga siyang fees. So there are a lot of fees na maaari mong mabayaran sa credit cards if you misuse it. Okay, so I'll discuss some of those fees that a credit card may have. So number one, guys, annual fee. So hindi naman lahat merong annual fee, but most credit cards, especially those credit cards na merong mga reward or points, So they have annual fees or like the membership fee. So you are paying it yearly. So in my experience before, it's like 2,000 per year. 2,000 per year na annual fee. I don't know with other banks, okay? And another fee is the finance charge. So for example, if you defaulted with your payment, so lumagpas ka sa due date, you will really be penalized with a finance charge. So magkano ba yung finance charges ng banks for credit cards? So most likely yung range is 2% to 5% monthly. So that's really big, guys. So make sure that you really pay on time. Pay the outstanding balance, okay? Not just the minimum amount due. So 2 to 5%, meaning to say, for example, 3% yung interest rate mo monthly. So that is 36% annually. So please be really mindful in terms of payment, okay? So that hindi ka mabaon sa utang talaga kasi malaki yung interest niya. And what else? We also have late payment fees. Okay guys, pansin nyo ba sa credit card nyo, if you are already billed, meron yang total amount due at saka meron din yang minimum amount due. So most likely, the minimum amount due is lower than the total amount due. So anong ginagawa ng karamihan sa mga tao? They only pay the minimum amount due kasi nga minimum, mas maliit sa total amount due. But then guys, please do not do that. Please pay the total amount due kasi nga, if yung minimum amount due lang yung binabayaran mo, of course, magcha-charge pa rin yan ng finance charges kasi hindi mo binayaran ng buo yung outstanding na balance. Hindi ka nga na-charge sa late payment fee pero na-charge ka sa finance charges. So, ano yung late payment fee? Yung late payment fee naman, ito wagas na talaga to. Hindi na nga nagbayad ng total amount due, hindi pa nagbayad ng minimum amount due. So if you fail to pay the minimum amount due, you will also be charged with the late payment fee. So aside from the late payment fee, meron pa din yung finance charges. So dalawa na. So, oh my God, wag niyo tong gagawin. So again, if hindi ka nagbayad ng minimum amount due, magantay ka na ibibill na yung finance charge at late payment fee. Multiple fees na talagang ibibill sa'yo. Meron din tayong over limit fee. Diba sinabi ko earlier na merong credit limit yung credit cards? So pag lumampas ka sa amount na sinat ng bangko as your limit, they will charge you with over limit fee. I think in one bank, the over limit fee is 750 pesos per occurrence. Another fee is the cash advance fee. So merong mga credit cards guys na nag-o-offer sila. It's one of their, I don't know if this is considered to be an advantage, but meron silang offer na pwede kang mag-cash advance. Pwede mo siyang ma-withdraw yung amount sa credit card. So a specific amount, okay? You can withdraw, you can cash advance. But then again, there is a specific fee for that. I think that's 200 pesos per transaction. So again, as much as possible, wag niyo yan gawin. So aside from fees, guys, another disadvantage that I could think of is fraud, the risk of fraud. Diba na-mention ko din in the advantages, it is security. Security in terms of bringing cash. You don't have to bring cash, right? So it's more secure. You don't have to expose yourself in bringing lots of cash. But then, one disadvantage also is the risk of fraud because if, for example, hindi ka mindful, masascam ka talaga dito. So, ano yung hindi nyo dapat gawin? Do not reveal your card number, do not reveal your expiry date, do not reveal your CVV, the 3-digit code at the back of your credit card. Please do not reveal that to anyone. Ikaw lang dapat ang nakakaalam nun. Okay, so again, that's one of the disadvantage, the risk of fraud. And lastly, the most common disadvantage of using credit card is overspending. Okay? Because, di ba, iba yung feeling na nag-spend ka ng malaki, na ikaw naglabas ka ng cash mismo, like cold cash. Unlike if nagagamit ka ng credit card, hindi mo kasi talaga siya super ramdam. Kasi nga, swipe ng swipe ka lang. Unlike if naglabas ka talaga ng pera in one go, di ba mas masakit siya. So, that's why there is really a risk that you will overspend, okay? yung parang mag-i-inflate siguro yung lifestyle mo because of that, because you can just easily swipe. So that's one thing. So please make sure that you won't fall for that. Okay? Control your spending even if you have your credit cards. So what are the practical tips that I can share to you when you use your credit cards? Pero number one kasi guys, if you are not a disciplined person, hindi ka talaga disiplinado, hindi ka in control sa mga ginagawa mo, so please avoid na lang. Do not use credit cards if you are not a disciplined person because mababaon ka talaga sa utang. Lalo na if you are really a spender, stay away from credit cards na lang. Okay? If you feel that you are not really a responsible card holder, so do not avail of these credit cards. Second, guys, I think this is really important. Just use credit card for, it's like just a strategic tool, not because you lack cash, but because kailangan mo lang mag-strategize. For example, there are two examples. If I mentioned this naman kanina, ayun nga, if you want to go shopping or you buy some groceries, tapos ayaw mo magdala ng cash, so just use credit card. Pwede siyang gamitin. Okay? But then, hindi mo intention na umutang ka. Gusto mo lang na convenient for you, ayaw mo magdala ng cash. Ma-afford mo talagang bayaran yung grocery mo. It's just that you choose not to because of convenience. Another thing is if you want to make big purchases and it does not make any difference if you pay through cash or through installment. So of course, you can use credit cards as a strategy para hindi in one bagsakan babayaran mo ng buo yung amount. Okay? So after all, wala naman siyang interest. So you can opt for that. But then bear in mind, isipin mo talaga na if babayaran ko to ng cash, afford ko ba? If ang sagot mo hindi, huwag ka mag-credit card. Okay? Only use credit card if you can really afford to buy that on cash. Another strategy that I am doing, guys, is I make purchases at the beginning of the billing cycle. Because para ma-maximize mo yung payment period, di ba? Kasi if sa start ka ng billing cycle, nag-make ng purchases, mas mataas yung period kasi mas malayo pa siya sa due date. Unlike if you make the purchase malapit na sa end of the billing cycle, mas lower na lang yung number of days going to the payment due date. Okay? So, example, di ba in my case, my billing cycle starts every 26th and my statement date is every 25th. So, for example, if I make a purchase on May 26, and my due date, di ba, is after pa 21 days after the statement date. So, basically, that's July 16. So, that is 51 days. Meron akong 51 days para bayaran yung utang ko. Unlike if I make a purchase on June 24, which is 1 day na para mag-end na yung billing cycle ko. So, meaning to say, meron na lang akong 22 days to pay for the amount that I purchased. So, you see the difference? So, make use of it sa beginning of the billing cycle. That's one strategy. So, for example, in my case, if may naisip akong bilhin and it is already 24th of the month, well, ang gagawin ko, mag-aantay ako ng 2 days. So, since statement date na sa 25th, bibili na lang ako sa 26 kasi that's another billing cycle. So the purpose again, guys, is just to maximize the payment period. Another tip again, guys, is to pay the total amount, not just the minimum amount due. Please do not do this. Do not just pay the minimum amount due dahil ma-charge ka pa rin ng finance charges. May interest pa rin yan if hindi mo binayaran ng buo yung utang mo. As much as possible, try your best na walang outstanding balance yung credit card mo. And another thing, if you do not want to pay annual fees, you can opt to choose credit cards na walang annual fees. But then again, kasi wala siyang annual fees, mas less yung perks niya. So, possibly wala siyang rewards, wala siyang points. So, in my case, hindi ko naman siya kailangan. Hindi ko binavalue masyado yung points tsaka rewards. So, ang ginawa ko, tinawagan ko yung bangko at then nag-request ako na i-waive perpetually yung annual fee ko. So, nag-downgrade ako ng credit card para lang wala talagang annual fees kasi nasasayangan ako sa 2,000 per year. So, ganon. You can do that. And then, I think one important tip I could give you is just to be careful. Do not just easily give your credit card details to anyone. Kasi maraming nasa-scam dito sa credit cards. So, please be mindful na ikaw lang dapat yung nakaalam ng mga details na yon. Again, so do not give your credit card number. Huwag niyong ibigay ng complete na talaga to ha. Huwag niyong ibigay yung credit card number, huwag niyong ibigay yung expiry date, huwag niyong ibigay yung CVV, lalo na yung code sa likod ng credit card. So, please do not try to do that. And lastly, para iwas sa gulo, iwas sa mga relationship na mas strain, so iwas sa away, pamilya, kaibigan, and all, do not let anybody use your credit card aside from you. Okay? Especially if yung nanghihiram, nakikiride, pangit yung credit payment history. My God, mag-aaway talaga kayo dyan. Masisira yung relasyon niyo dyan. So, try your best na ikaw lang talaga yung gagamit ng credit card. And in rare cases, siguro meron kang mapapahiram, pero make sure that that person is really good in terms of payments, in debt payments. So, it is at your own risk if you want somebody to use your credit card. So, ikaw, try your best as much as possible to be really very careful kung sino yung pinapahiram mo. Pero, ideally, do not let anyone borrow your credit card. So, that's it guys. I hope you learned a lot about credit cards, about its advantages, disadvantages, and everything. And if you have questions related to this topic, credit cards, you may want to leave a comment below in the comment section. And please share this with your friends kasi maraming gumagamit na ng credit cards ngayon, maraming atat gumamit ng credit card ngayon pero hindi nila alam yung responsibilities nila. So might as well share this to them because malamang makakatulong talaga if they really know what they're getting into, ano yung mga responsibility nila sa card holder. So share this to them. Okay, so again guys, thank you for watching this video. If you have other video suggestions, please comment down below. Please do not forget to like this video, share this with your friends, and then subscribe. See you again in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye!